night is the Rangers Journal night.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rangers Journal podcast. My name's Scott Mackay, and I am suffering terribly from a weekend of drinking with the North Yorkshire Loyal. Ross, how are you, pal? Thank you for the weekend.
You are welcome, mate. It was good to have you down. We had a good wee swally on the Saturday, didn't we? Yeah, do you know what? I'm all right, mate. I kind of feel like, the amount of times we've come on here and said, "Oh, this is a therapy session." I feel like I've had more therapy than Michael Jackson's Pet Monkey. But one more session could probably help. So, look, I'm sure we'll get into it. But another hugely disappointing and anticlimactic weekend to be a Rangers fan.
Yeah, not half, mate, not half. That's well summed up in your introduction. Evening to all the listeners and the viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Please smash the like button for the algorithm. Ricky, how are you, pal?
I'm fine, Scotty. Good evening, Ross. Good evening, Scott, mate. Yeah, a very good day on Saturday, I have to say. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Soaking wet when I got here, mind you, but I certainly dried out. So yeah, a really good day, but obviously that result just made the whole Rangers love it's just getting worse and worse and worse, isn't it? And there just doesn't seem to be an end to it, and it's just draining. It's draining, and for me, again, Ross said we'll probably get into it. There's a fix. This system just has to stop. Either that or Clement. He is the problem now. Clement, whether we like it, whether we don't, he is the problem.
Yep, definitely. Ross, I want to speak to you about the mood around Ibrox just now. Best example I can give you of this is a wee story on a car journey home for Harrogate yesterday. Me and Dean were talking about Rangers and who could potentially come in and make a difference. And I turned round to Dean and I says, "You know what, mate? I am so fed up with talking about Rangers because it's just all negative. It's just causing." Yeah. He says to me he felt the same way. How are you feeling with things just now? You want to go off your chest?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we're all very, very frustrated, deeply frustrated at what we're seeing on the pitch, and you can hear Jack Butland when he comes out afterwards talking about players just not doing enough, and it's just exactly the nail on the head. The players are representing us all on that pitch, and you know, should be fighting for that jersey and giving everything, and it just feels like they're not, for whatever reason. Now, this is a very common symptom when a manager is potentially on the way out, and that feels like it is, you know, the plaster's clinging on by you know, for dear life. But actually, we need a reshuffle, and we need it to happen. Well, it should have happened probably a month ago, but we need it to happen instantly, because as it is now on the pitch, we're embarrassed. I feel embarrassed, and it's time and time again. You know, every team drops points, and that's understandable. But you know, Airwolf's put it in there. I think he's lost the dressing room. I couldn't agree more. I feel like I don't even recognise this Rangers team on the pitch. There's nothing about it that I recognise, and it's a really worrying state of affairs. And I just don't know how it's gonna get fixed with Clement at the helm, to be honest.
No, I know, mate. I know. Ricky, turgid is a word I've probably not used much in my life until this season. It seems to sum up a Rangers performance. Where are you at with Rangers just now?
Well, the apathy has well and truly set in across the whole support. Those stands are going to empty now. Season ticket holders just won't turn up, and it'll be like back to the kind of 80s again, won't it? Where fans will just vote with their feet, just won't go to the games. We'll be the laughing stock of Glasgow, and probably rightly so. And we've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks now that the system just doesn't work for the players, the personnel that we have at the moment. Yes, we've got injuries, but do the simple thing and change the formation. Do something. You know, like Diomande would probably come on to, but you know, Diomande cannot play in that role. I mean, I don't mind Diomande if he was playing instead of Raskin or playing instead of Barron, but we cannot play the three of them in there and using Diomande as your number 10 to link the play. There's no combinations happening at all. We've got a donkey up top. Now, we all know that. So play a false nine. You know, it's just change the system. Do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a 3-5-2. Do something different, but it's the same old. And as I keep saying in this pod as well, managers are setting up on a Monday morning to play Rangers on the Saturday or the Sunday, whatever it may be, and they know how we're going to set up. we're easy to play against. It's just ridiculous now. And for a manager on such vast amount of money and the experience he has as well, to not recognise it, we all recognise it's just beyond the joke now, and it's so frustrating when people are just turning a bank on. We're going to lose generations of fans if this doesn't. I mean, Celtic are going for 56, or is it 55? They're going for, but you know they'll be shouting 10 in a row, you know, before we know it again. You know, just running away and leaving us, and it's just, for me, it's demoralising as a 58-year-old lifetime Ranger. It's demoralising for me and everybody else, you know. And I can't see where we're going to get any better unless this board, when they come in, take a brand new path and start afresh with a new manager. It's got to happen, because Clement isn't the man for the job.
That's fair. There's absolutely nothing I can disagree with on, mate.
Where's your head at, Scotty?
Oh, where do I start? I'm just at the end of my tether now. I think I'm in the same mood as the support. Luckily, I was having a good day with you guys down the road, and you know, I was able to put the result in the back of my mind and just focus on the company I was in. So that was a much welcome distraction for me. But in terms of where I'm at with Rangers, is this CEO's coming in. First thing he's got a big decision to make when he comes in, isn't he? It's the first thing he needs to do is relieve the manager of his duties. I'm not buying any of this stuff about waiting until after the 2 Celtic games or the Spurs game, or just do it now. Just do it now. It should have been done probably after the Aberdeen match, I would say. As soon as Aberdeen went 9 points clear of us, that should have been time. Now, we were told that we couldn't repeat this same cycle that we've repeated every year, Ross, but we're Rangers and we're sitting in a position just now that is unheard of. Now, see, if you're 9 points behind Celtic, you can't accept it, but you're like, right, you're second and you're in a cup final and you're doing everything that you should be doing. We've got a new team, but we're 9 points, 8 points now behind Aberdeen. That's the bit stickler for everybody. And if Dundee United had beat us by 2 or 3 goals yesterday, they would have leapfrogged us into third. This cannot go on. It just simply cannot go on.
Yeah.
Where we are isn't standard, and it comes from the top and goes down throughout the club. And I don't know who would want to touch a job, to be honest with you, Ross, because I think the Rangers job's turned into a bit of a poison chalice because of the people that run the club. I don't know what you think, but see the comparisons to Man United, it's scary. They compare, like, you seen Man United playing the beginning of the season and the exact same football under Ten Hag, like the exact same nothing. It was a carbon copy to Rangers. It's just it's worrying times. It's worrying times.
Yeah. If I can just jump in there, so I've seen Smoke Madro has put, you know, if we sack him, then this time next year we'll be in the same boat. You heard it here first, and I would be all on board with that and backing him if there was a clear philosophy, style of play, and we were just not scoring as many, but we were still playing attacking, lively, exciting football that got us excited. And, you know, there was just mistakes here or there, or youth, or we were trying loads of youth out, and that just wasn't happening because they were inexperienced. The stuff we're seeing on the pitch is a representation of Clement. He then has to be responsible for that style of play or lack of, and also for the results. That the buck has to stop with someone. And what do we do if do we just stick this out and hope that it turns a corner? Because nothing I'm seeing there is suggesting that there's glimmers of hope that actually we're going to turn a corner here. I'm not seeing anything that says, I tell you what, if that clicks and when it clicks, it'll be magic to watch. There is none of that. So I think that's why I would contest what's been said there, because there's no clear, there's no light at the end of this tunnel. And unfortunately, Ten Hag was a probably testament to this. At some point, you have to rip the plaster off and be held accountable. Like any footballer on the pitch who's not performing, someone has to be held accountable. And unfortunately, Clement knows it. That sits with him.
Aye, definitely. See, when you look at it in terms of what do we need for the next 2 to 3 years? Ricky, I'll come to you on this one. What do we need for the next 2 to 3 years? Do we need somebody, like I said on Saturday, I'm very pro McInnes on this. I think a Scottish manager is the only route that's left. We've tried foreigners, we've tried bringing guys back to the club, Michael Beale, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Three times we've tried something different and it's not worked. But I also think what we need is a brand and identity, a style of play. where Rangers, where people from outside can look at Rangers and go, right, that's how they play. That's the Rangers way, if you want to call it that. What do you think we need just now, Riggy?
Well, we certainly need stability because we haven't had that for the past 3, 4, 5 months. We've got a chairman who is of an temporary charge, is not interested in taking the job permanently. Their style's a problem. Our CEO walked to Saudi Arabia for whatever reason. Was it the money, or was it because he knew there was things just went right behind the scenes? We'll probably never know. Our academy director, Auchenhowie, left and obviously got a better job over at PSV, I think it was. So do you blame him? I mean, you know, Auchenhowie is a fantastic facility, but for some reason, all our stability within our club from the very top hasn't been right, clearly, for about 6, 7, 8 months now. Clement started the job very well, but as did all the previous 3 managers start very well until this kind of time of year, where Rangers fans just won't accept the style of play. You know, it's pathetic. So I think for me, Scotty, we need to get the boardroom level sorted, get the finances sorted, find out where we're going to sort of put our money, or, you know, where we're going to invest. Is it going to be in the academy? Is it going to be, you know, on player recruitment? Because player recruitment's, you know, it's so key to get that right, because we're just squandering and throwing money away left, right and centre. Proper being a fantastic example for me. You know, he's a good European type player, but Scottish football, I just don't know if he's suited for it. But I mean, that's yeah, he may well come good. But what I'm trying to say with recruitment is, and I've said it before, Scotty, we allowed Ben Davies to go down to Birmingham, who is actually quite a decent footballer. He had his frailties, we all know that. But Robin Popper's the exact same player, and we're going to spend $1.5 million. So it's recruitment, it's not right. So there's a whole host of things that we need to get right. That area of us going forward needs to be bang on. If you get the recruitment right, i.e. Bassey, Aribo, I mean, they're out there, Glenn Kamara. So there's players there that can come in and enhance this team and make the kind of trading model, you know, a lot healthier, because unless we can get that right, we'll never catch Celtic financially, and that's a big worry for me. So that's the area we need to get right, is the recruitment. The manager comes cap in hand with that, of course, but for me, Derek McInnes would probably be the best sort of option. But I would also argue David Moyes wouldn't be a bad option if he could afford them. A lot of people would say, you know, he's played with Celtic. I don't really care about that. David Moyes was brought up a Rangers supporter, his whole family Rangers supporter. So that for me is good enough. The boy went and played his career a little bit at Celtic. So what? Don't care. So David Moyes, for me, I think with him being available, would bring a wealth of experience to Rangers. So if we could afford him, he would be a good option. Graham Potter would not be affordable to us. So I think he would be a great manager, but not for us. But me, I still think that the man we didn't get was Kevin Muscat. He got down to the final 3, and then he was binned, and it went down to Frankie Lampard and Philip Clement to see who was going to get the job. Now that sheer fact that we got to him 3, he may have a bee in his bonnet and saying, no, I'm never going to touch Rangers again, because if I wasn't good enough then, I'm not good enough now, and I get that. But for me, if I had the choice of it, because of the way he just plays the game, you've got Postecoglou almost coming in to Rangers in the guise of Muscat. And for me to get that kind of style of play, as long as the recruitment's correct, which is a must, he'd be, for me, 100% for me. Then it would be David Moyes. But I would not say no to Derek McInnes if that was the financial best we could do.
Ross, I'll ask you the same question. Do you think it's a case I could bring in people with proven track records in within the Scottish League, like David Moyes or Derek McInnes, for that short-term gain? Or I'm just taking this guy as an example, Kevin Muscat, who's got a brand of football that's been successful in Japan, is now successful in China. He's out of contract at the end of December. What for you, the Rangers need at this minute?
I want to try and think about it, and not just in a reactionary kind of thought process to what we're seeing on the pitch now, which is an inflexible, stubborn style of, well, no style of play, stubborn manager, shall we say, stubborn tactics. I would like to see flexibility. I don't mind whether it's someone that's with a proven record in Scottish football. That doesn't really bother me. I think a good manager comes in. Look at Gerrard; he came in and you know was given the reins, but brought the best out of players. I'd like to see someone in that is able to carry the weight of this club on their shoulders, and you know, if we could get someone that brings in high quality players that want to play for him, like Gerrard did, then I think that would be a good thing to have. I think the thing with you know, you look at your Knutson and Muscat as two options. They have an area of expertise which is kind of untapped markets. So from a recruitment point of view, that would maybe be a wise move. But to be honest, mate, for me right now, I'm kind of sat at the table wanting someone to come and take the reins from Clement, and I'm open to suggestions of how that is and what it looks like. If it's someone that is steely and knows how to win in these horrible gritty games, probably like a Moyes, and isn't afraid to be fit, you know, play physical players who will, you know, not be pushed over like Proper is every other game, then I'd also accept that. You know, there's two different ways of thinking. I think what I would say is priority has to be the league, and therefore maybe someone from that kind of you know, proven track record in this league or a similar league would be our best option. I think the hard thing with Clement is he's got a charisma and he's got a kind of charm about him, and I think that he's almost probably won over the board, rather than, you know, through his actions and the way he talks. He comes across very well. And I know when he first came in, everyone was saying this guy's, you know, got a lot of credibility. He seems like someone that's very respectable. But for me, yeah, and I think that's probably the only reason that he's in a job, to be honest. He's probably just hoodwinked them in some way, because there's a very bare bones boardroom staff there. So I think he's just kind of managing to hang on. I'd say that's it. But to answer your question, I think someone that could just grind out wins would be really refreshing. Someone that's not afraid to be flexible to get that win, whether it's 2 up, whether it's 3 up, whatever it is, that gets 3 points. What about you, Scott? Who do you think?
I would look at, in terms of short term, medium term, I would look at bringing in somebody like David Moyes or McInnes, with that British-based experience. We've seen Derek McInnes kind of a tactical game plan against Celtic, so I believe that the gap wouldn't be as big as what it is now, if that makes any sense, because we would improve our performances domestically. We would start to take points. We'd get a wee bit of pride back in the jersey again. I think you bring in somebody like that for maybe a 2 to 3 year period, and then when you're back on top, if it all goes to plan, you look at branching out and bringing in somebody that can come in and implement a style of football. And you look at Moyes at West Ham, he brought in Mark Robertson, the former Rangers manager, into his backroom staff to try and improve the style of play, and it didn't really work, I need to be honest. Moyes ended up going back to what he knows. So these guys are there, and they get results through how they know what's successful. But I would say that's when you would maybe look at a guy like Muscat in a couple of years' time, and you're back on top and you're competing and you're winning trophies regularly. Get that foundation in place first with some domestic success is what I would say, Ross.
It's really tricky. I can understand why the board will want a sort of visionary, forward-thinking manager. Looking at it now, I'm not sure what they would have seen on the park if Clement's previous teams played the way that we do to suggest that he is that person. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Something has to change, I guess.
100%. Ricky, were you wanting to come in, mate?
I was just going to say on the Muscat thing, just looking at the dynamism of the kind of type of game he plays, it would excite the fans. It's as simple as that. But for me, he's at a stage of his career where if we do not take the punt and try and get him, we'll have missed the boat forever, because I think he's on a trajectory where he's going to be out of our reach if we don't take that punt now, because he's obviously going to make it in the game as soon as he gets a job in Europe. I think that'll be him up and running. But then if you look at Brighton, look at Bournemouth, there are two clubs who for some reason just know where to go and pick a manager. You know, Brighton are flying at the moment, and they went and got the St. Pally manager in, who got him St. Pally promoted from the Bundesliga 2 into the Bundesliga, and he's absolutely flying. So there's managers there How come we cannot find that right recruitment? You know, give Davy Weir a shout. Maybe Davy's got a short list of people at Brighton keep looking at. You know what I mean? So we don't have to go for the recognised person. Celtic did it with Postecoglou, and it worked a treat for them. So we don't necessarily have to go for a name that we're all sort of talking about. But it all comes down to the recruiting process. You know, due diligence. I know we did all this with Clement and the rest of it, but one of the things that people will say about Clement, he didn't do that well down in France, albeit, you know, he spent a lot of money. I think that's the thing that sort of let him down. But what a lot of people don't seem to realise, and it's quite interesting, this in Belgium, for those of you who don't know, he won the league twice with two different teams. But in Belgium, when you win the league, you don't win the league. It's the top six then going to sort of a playoff situations. So you can actually finish sixth, having spent a whole season, and then win the league based on a couple of games. And I'm not saying that's what Clement done, by the way. I'm not saying he didn't win the league by maximum points, but it's all weird in Belgium. So to win it, you know, with two different teams, I'd have to look at that to see whether he did actually win it and then win the playoff games, because it's a really weird finish to their league over there. So it's worth noting that. So yeah, we all saying he was very good and successful in Belgium, but I'm just saying that there could have been clause and caveats to that. So going to the game on Saturday, I mean, you know, you're looking at our play. You know, going to open here, 72%. And this, how many times have we got the majority of possession, especially at Ibrox, even away from home, but we're just not converting those chances. I mean, 29 shots on target, at goal, 9 on target. So that would suggest to me that we're actually creating, there's something right, but we're not, the combination isn't there in this bloody stupid system. So if we're going to keep on persevering with Diomande and hanging the boy out to dry because it's not his position, then the boy's just going to get, confidence is going to get lower and lower and lower. I've said to you the weekend there, Scotty, I'm a big fan of Hadji. Hadji is that man that can link any combination play. He does need somebody to link to, though, and Dessers ain't that man. He hasn't got a clue. He can't make the runs. He doesn't. You saw it with Danilo when he came on. The guy's got it up here. He knows, okay, he had a golden opportunity to score the goal. That was Dessers. He would have been lambasted on it. We get that. But you could tell that Danilo's got it, hasn't he? He'll make those little runs, and him and Cheney were playing really, really well. Hadji was involved all the second half. We've got the players, the style, to, you know, but this is what comes back to, and Ross has already alluded to it. The stubbornness of our managers is killing them. It's killing us because we have got the personnel, we're just not utilising them properly.
Aye, definitely. Ross, let's talk about the number 9 position a wee minute. We've known it's a big issue since January when we were back and we were top of the league and everything was rosy and we wanted the club to get out and sign another striker, and we brought in Fabio Silva. We then go into the summer and we still didn't fix it. How has this been missed? How has the club missed this big gaping hole in our team?
I don't have the answer because we've sat here and we've debated Dessers till the cows come home, and the guy is just quite simply not good enough. You know, that's just a full stop, bottom line. No buts. He's just not good enough to be the number 9 for Rangers. From games that I've seen recently, and I'm probably going to get slated for this, the second half did look better from what I saw in terms of the chance creation. But you're a goal down. You're chasing the game. Teams know how to defend against you. Just sit in. I think there was signs of improvement. And look, he did bring on Hadji and he brought on Igaman and Danilo, but it's too little. We should have these games wrapped up by half time. And then you bring on your youth. You know, if he thinks the best solution to get a goal in that final half an hour is to bring on those 3 players, start them. Start the players that you think are going to get that game done. If I was him, I'd be saying, I want this game won by half time every game from now on. So give everything because we'll just rotate you. You know, make that first half a game in itself. I just think going back to the Dessers conundrum, I think it's clear, at least now, hopefully, that we just do not have the the Arsenal up top to make it happen, and he just cannot be relied on. The guy cannot be relied on. Yeah, it's a really frustrating situation to be in, given that we've all highlighted it 1,000 times. I'm conscious that Clement's not going to be watching this, but if you are, just do something different up top. Play 2 strikers. Play 3-5-2. Overload their our final third. Keep the ball in their half. You watch. It comes to the end, he's playing Suter up top as a centre forward. If that's how he thinks he's going to score a goal, or in those final minutes, just get more players in that final third from the start. Just do it. Just get us 2-3 goals up early, and then you can make your changes and go back to what formation you want to play. But the amount of times we're passing the ball around from midfield to back to keeper to defence it's just horrific. And it's a painful watch. I don't mind if we miss 20 chances, but we win 4-0. I don't care, because that's fine. It's exciting. But to see the way we're playing, that first half, it's just agony. It's agony. And it's not the first time we've been here. It's not new news to Clement. It's just a dire set of players that we've got. And look, I highlighted this in the summer during the podcast. You think about the players that we've let go, and I'm not saying that every single player that we've let go was sort of the best player in the world, but you're letting go players that have come from Premier League. John Lundstrom, Todd Cantwell, Davies was a Premier League player, albeit I don't think he actually played there, but he was at that level. You're letting these players go, and I'm sorry, Robin Proper. You mentioned it earlier, Ricky. The guy is stinking. He is an absolute bomb scare. I've never seen someone so physically strong and imposing that is so weak as a defender. It's madness. Yeah, there we go. Rant over.
Ricky, well, let's I want to speak about one substitution that Clement made at the weekend. Now, fair play to him. At the weekend, at half time, they noticed it wasn't working. They took off Danilo and Diamande and put on Hadji and Danilo for Dessers. And then he brings on Igaman with 20 minutes left and puts on left wing.
Well, it's a good point, because I was just about to come in with that there. This is another real problem with Clement. He doesn't change the system. He doesn't change any tactics. He just changes like for like. Each substitute is like for like. So again, why is it, or how is that interrupting any kind of comfortable or style of play at Dundee United already in? Whether it's, I think it's about 7 or 8 1-0 victories we've had this season. We're just so easy to play against, because when they do make a substitution, nothing that's tactically changing. It's just like for like. And for me, that's a major problem. And it goes down to the stubbornness of the manager. It's just crazy how we cannot get 11 players. This season, I think in spats, mainly Europe, we've played reasonably well. We've been happy. Even against Lyon, maybe get beat with the better front three, basically. But we played really well against them. So there's been periods this season where we played in parts reasonably well. But we're Rangers. We should be playing reasonably well for 90 minutes, because these teams are just so easy. We're easy to play against. They're just so predictable. And as I said there, Scotty, every single substitution is like for like. There's no change tactically. It's just not good enough for a manager of that ilk. It is pathetic, really. I could go in there and do a better job. My granny could. Honestly, it's just pathetic. Generally, there's no backing the manager now. He's brought in 11 players. He's got youth players there that we all know and we're all desperate to see play. Given Lovelace, a run in the team. Bailey Rice, which I've been saying, if we don't use that boy, he's going to walk, and we're going to lose another bloody gem. There's lads in the youth team there. Lowry, I just don't know what's happened to Lowry. Take him under your wing, whoever in the training system, in the setup. Take the boy under your wing. He's definitely got the football brain, but all of a sudden apparently he's in really good wages. I don't know how much the boy's on, but we're just so wasteful with our recruitment and the pathway for our youngsters. It's just, and this talk about Lennon Miller potentially coming, he'll never come to Rangers a month of Sundays, never. He won't come to this shambles. The boy's too good, far too good.
Right, certainly, mate. Jack, how are you doing, mate? Thanks for coming on.
Aye, cheers for having us on. Sorry for being a wee bit later, obviously, into the show, but aye, obviously just caught the end of Ricky's statements there. I can't really disagree, to be honest with you. It's just the way it is at the moment, isn't it?
Aye, that's it, mate. Do you want to tell the listeners where they can find you and stuff, Jack, quickly?
Aye, you can find us on YouTube at every other Saturday podcast. We've just uploaded an episode today talking about kind of the same stuff, and you can find us on Twitter at every other Satu1, again, where we tweet our opinions and we put our episodes on there to find the links and stuff. So aye.
Cool. Where are you at with the management situation, Jack? Is it time to stay or go, or but where's your head with Rangers just now?
I think it's obviously a difficult one, and it's been a difficult season so far. It's kind of just been the same way for the summer, really. We were all kind of expecting this to happen, and it's obviously happening in full flow. I didn't think it would be as bad as it currently is, though. I think, we're just so far off it in every single department, whether that be on the pitch, in the dugout, in the boardroom. There's just so much wrong at the club, and I think the manager, obviously, he's not helping his case either. He's continuing to pick guys that are clearly not good enough. Again, the squad that we've got isn't really good enough either, but you've got guys obviously coming back from injury like Danilo. You've got Hadji back in the fold now, which obviously made a bit of a difference the other day. But I think as a whole, it's not a squad that's going to really challenge Celtic at the top end of the table. They're not really going to go to the latter stages of Europe, I don't think, even though that's been what we've kind of been good in this season. And there's just so many holes in the team. Like, you look at the defensive situation now, Robin Propper, again, just a shambles at the weekend for that goal. You've got now Leon Balogun you're having to rely on again at 36 years old. It's not a great look. And just the way we're playing isn't really getting anybody excited for the games to come, and we just seem to be struggling at the moment through every game, and we really just we didn't get that stroke of luck to get by 1-0 the other day. Obviously going 1-0 behind and had an uphill task for them. So there's so much wrong at the club, which you've obviously covered it probably in the half an hour you have been on, but it's not good.
No, it certainly is not. What am a positive light, Ross? I think you're flying out of France. Is it tomorrow or Wednesday?
It's Thursday, very, very early from Manchester, disgustingly early. So it's one of those. Do you either go to sleep or?
How are you? What's your mood like? Out there, are you looking forward to it? Are you? New Rangers in Europe aren't a bad proposition to go and watch. Let's be honest.
I mean, personally, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a nice little trip away, and not a bad place to visit, I guess. So that'll be good, and a good set of lads and girls that we're going with. So excited for that. I'm not expecting much. Being honest, I'm not expecting much. Thankfully, I've got a ticket for the match, so at least I'll be in with the Rangers fans, which will be a good sing along and stuff. So. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not expecting much. I think if we can nick a draw out there, happy days. It's just I guess it's just the sort of tip of the iceberg, really, isn't it? No one's really expecting anything. If we pick up something in Europe, fine, but it's just so far away from what the core issues are at the club that it's almost a nice to have. It's like a jolly. So maybe, I don't know, who knows? Maybe that means that the handbrake will be off, to use a Michael Beale term. Sorry to bring him up again, but maybe the handbrake will be off and we'll start to play a bit, but who knows? We'll see.
Ricky, what about you? What's your expectation for Thursday, if anything?
Listen, it all depends what Rangers turn up. It ain't going to be an easy game. They just mentioned there. We saw how good Leon were up at Ibrox. Yet Nice are sitting above Leon in the league. So it ain't going to be an easy game. So Rangers will need to defend well and take the chances as and when they come. But outside Czerny, I don't really see MD with the pace to sort of to have that kind of, breakaway goal. Maybe Dessers have turned up. He actually has done okay in Europe for his Dessers, to be fair. I just don't know. I'm gutted that I can't get down with the lads on Thursday. Unfortunately, I've got to work. I can't get away from work. But I'll be watching it on the television and hoping for the best. Because let's face it, if we get something from there, there's every chance that we will come out that group. And the way we're playing domestically, God, that'd be a fantastic sort of achievement to come out of that group, considering how woeful we are domestically. And again, that's probably one of the things that just frustrates the Rangers fans so much, because we know those players. I think you alluded to it earlier on, Scotty. We know that, like for like, these players are decent enough players. It's just I don't think they're getting coached, or improved, or they're playing in a system that's holding them back, or God knows what. But they just look as if they're individuals who don't know what they're doing, and it's a shame because there's some talented players there. We're talking about the goal there, Jack. You sort of alluded to Big Proper being. I don't actually think Proper. I'm not saying he was faultless, Paul, but when you look at the goal, first and foremost, it was a good goal. The cross was inch perfect. The marking. I don't know if you sort of realise it, but Proper was marking one of the United lads who made a fantastic run. Proper had to go with him, mate. That left that gap. So if anything, Jeffrey was the one that should have been in and met that ball. But then he obviously thought he was, Sod's Law, if he'd went and closed that player down, the ball went over his head and he'd have got it in the back again because he went the back post with a free header. It was a good goal from the United. The ball was inch perfect, but it was MD to blame for me. It was been more Jeff Day and not Proper. I think Proper had to go with the runner. That's my personal opinion.
Jack, we've got a question here for Curry, and he's asking who would you, lads, what would be realistically like we want in shop in the long term? We've kind of covered it with, like I said, David Moyes, McInnes. We're just looking for some different. Have you got any standout candidates you would want in your head if Clement was to get the back?
It's who wants it really at Rangers now, isn't it? It's like there's that big thing with finances now, the state of the club, and I don't know who would really be up for it. I don't know who would have the kind of the guile to come in there and steady the ship and get us playing much better. Obviously, Kevin Muscat's been the one I've seen a lot. He kind of discourse about online, and obviously I think his season's just finished in China as well. So by all accounts, he's going to be available. I think he was obviously in the running last season as well before we got Clement. So I think I'm looking at somebody that definitely has a clear kind of style of play, something that's exciting to watch, something that gets the fans getting off their seats, because we do have good players at the club. I just feel they've been really poorly coached. I think maybe with a guy like Muscat would maybe get the best out of a lot of these players and give them a kind of second lease of life. You look at guys like Diomande, who's maybe needing that kind of refresh. Obviously, Bayrami, who has obviously got clear quality, kind of stuck out on the left-hand side. It's not really benefiting him at all. So I think maybe with a manager that has a clear vision and attacking style of football would be brilliant. Muscat's the one that comes to my mind straight away, but obviously David Moyes and guys like that are welcomed as well. But I think it's going to be difficult to get somebody in that's of the calibre you would expect a Rangers manager, considering the situation, I think.
I know. Ross, I want to cast your mind back very quickly to your interview with Skoldy. Remember, he done the Malmo preview, and he was talking about his managers at Henrik Rydstrom.
That's right.
And he was talking about how he likes players to have close relationships in the park, etc., etc. As somebody like that, now this manager is supposedly an up-and-comer. As somebody like that, something Rangers should be looking at. Completely left wing.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's done a good job over there. I don't think that's to be questioned. We convincingly beat them, so whether or not having good relationships on the park helped us all, I don't know, because it was a scalping that night, a Skoldy scalping. But Yeah, look, I like the thinking, and I think that's, and I hear you, Jack, on that. And I guess to my point earlier, do you need someone that comes in with a philosophy and a style of play? Ideally, yes. Do you need someone to win? Yes. That has to be the ultimate, a winner, a proven winner. I'd be interested to get your thoughts, Scotty, on Gerrard. Would you have him back in the fold?
No. I'm probably not going to be popular in the comments for this, but I think we've been there, done that. I don't think he's done anything of any significance since he's left, to be honest. And is that because he's not had Michael Beale by his side, who is now back with him? The main reason I wouldn't want Gerrard back is because Beale would probably come back with him, and I don't want that man anywhere near my club again. I think he's a poison. I think the way he went about trying to get the Rangers job, turning up at matches and stuff when Gio was in charge, was wrong. It wasn't of a Rangers standard. Yeah. It's pretty sad, to be honest, that he done that. For me, it would not be. Don't get me wrong, we would score for a corner again. Would have a set piece coach, would score for a corner, would have a cross, it would be the first man. Basics would be right. We would have a definite patient style of play. But no, we've been there, done it, Ross. It's time to, for me, like I'm saying, it's time for McInnes. I think it's time to bring somebody in that knows the club in the league and can put us back on top short term to medium term.
Just on that then, Scott, do you think he'll have the European quality, as in, coming up against really well-drilled, high-quality opponents? For me, that's the gap with him. He doesn't have experience of that, and also probably wider European recruitment, and really sort of digging into, your Scandinavias, your West Africas, your wherever it would be, but those kind of hotspots of quality players.
Yeah, I know, but it has got a lot of European experience. It's not good European experience, but he's got experience. For me, this is about being able to score a corner kick, not like you were saying to me on Saturday, Ross, not have somebody crawl up to the byline to take a throw in. It's about being able to pass the ball forward at the right time. It's about winning your physical battles in the park and then letting your quality come through. This is all ingredients that's missing from this Rangers side. If you look at the leadership in it, there's no leadership. Jack Butland spoke very well at the weekend, but I think I'm going to get absolutely lambasted for this, but I think the team missed Tav in terms of to give the ball to somebody. I think they missed that outlet that Tav provides. Now, he's not had a great season. He's been ranked rotten, but he always shows up. He's always there. Do you know what I mean? And I don't believe that he should have started at the weekend, but this is how bad it is when even I'm sitting saying, no, Tav should have played a part, and he didn't. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, we need to forget about European football and get this domestic stuff sorted out, because 8 points behind Aberdeen in third place, 3 points in front of Dundee United. But I think there's 11 points between bottom of the league and us, and there's 11 points between top of the league and us. It's mid-table form, and it's not a Rangers standards. It needs to go. It needs to change, and we need somebody who knows the league. I'm also kind of leaning towards a safer bet with McInnes than bringing in somebody unknown from out with again.
It's tricky, really tricky. I think we all agree something needs to change though, quickly.
Aye,
yeah, big thing.
Definitely. Right. Well, we spoke about kind of, I think, everything there is to domestically. Jack, European, I think if we get a win, it puts us to 10 points Thursday night. And that would be that, I would say, in terms of qualification into the next round. Decent achievement considering the run of games we've had. But like I say, drawing to Dundee United and then going and beating Nice, isn't it? I would rather it should be the other way about.
Yeah.
In any sense. What are you made of us in Europe so far?
Again, that's been the highlight of the season, really, isn't it? It's been, obviously, we started off quite poorly against Kiev. We obviously had that disappointment not getting into the Champions League again, but once the Europa League draw was made, the teams that were matched up against, I don't think we really kind of were too confident about the teams we got. Obviously, still to play two of the big ones in Man United and Spurs, but to get where we are, we obviously playing Lyon, Malmo, Stoya, obviously Nice is coming up. We've done all right, I think, considering the squad that we've got can't beat Dundee United at home. Like, I think in Europe we definitely seem to pull out the bag, and I think that's maybe Clement's thing as well. I think he's maybe a manager that's more suited to that underdog style in Europe, where we're not really considered a kind of heavyweight in Europe. We're going over there to Olympiacos, for example, and playing really well because we're not really expecting much. I don't think we're set up really well. We're well drilled, playing in the counter attack. Obviously, Dessers had that one that day where he went through on goal and kind of fluffed it, but I think that suits us just as a team, which is sad to say. I think we're definitely better to be the underdog rather than the team that has to go for it. And as I say, it's unfortunate, but I think this game coming up against Nice, if you get a victory, of course, that sets you in good stead to kind of progress and continue having European football into next year as well. So it's obviously a positive. It brings finances for the club. It brings exposure for being in Europe. But at the moment, this season, as well as we've been, it's been a kind of distraction playing on a Thursday, then obviously not getting the best out of the team on the Sunday after that. I think you could excuse that when Gerrard and Gio were in charge, because you were obviously putting a lot into those games in Europe, and obviously you were coming back and maybe just getting over the line on the Sunday, but you could excuse it because it wasn't a kind of all the time thing. It's every single time we play in the league, whether we play on Thursday or not, we're struggling. So I would expect Rangers to go out there and put a performance on. I would expect them to maybe get a result as well. So a victory would be nice, a draw would be nice, just to see some signs of maybe some differentiation in the squad and the lineup would be nice for Clement. Maybe start a Hamza Eggman up front. I think Dessers cannot start this game. I'd like to see Ridvan maybe in at left back with Yefti pushed forward. I believe Ridvan's in the European squad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that could be a welcome change, and then that obviously gives the flexibility to put Bayrami in the middle of the park. So there's definite changes that can be made around the squad, considering we've not got Danilo and Hadji, who you would like to have involved on the Thursday. There's changes that can be made. It's up to Clement to see if he's got the guile to really make those changes. But I'm more confident for the Nice game than I am St Johnstone on Sunday, so make it that what you will.
Right. Ross, quick situation before I kind of wrap up. If Rangers, say, get a draw in France on Thursday night and then go and get beat off St Johnstone on Sunday, is that it? Do you think that's it with the manager? Or do you think it'll still be in post?
Oof. What I think and what I want are two different things. If it was me, I would have sacked him by now. I think it's just inexcusable. Like, trying to sort of pick the bones of a result where actually, you know, the second half was really good and, you know, we should have deserved more. Well, look, we didn't. And if it was once, fine, but it's happened numerous times. So for me, he should have been gone. Will he be gone with a draw in Nice and a loss? I would think he probably will be. I think the CEO will want to come in and cast an eye over it and understand what's going on the lie of the land before anything happens. Yeah, I just can't see him getting pushed out.
Yeah. Ricky, what about you? When's it time for a gaffer's ticket to be punched, kind of thing? Because we're kicking a can down the road here.
Oh, we're absolutely kicking a can down the road, and it's a matter of time. He's not going to stay as our long-term manager. For me, he should have went prior to the international break. They gave us a chance to sort of get the due diligence done. Brought in somebody who could work with the players for the 2 weeks sort of off, and then be ready for the game on Saturday against Dundee United. I think all the telltale signs were there at that particular point that it isn't going to survive, so we should have done it then. But to be fair, there's no chairman, there's no CEO. Coppin's just been promoted, who's I think him and Clement come cap in hand, and I believe when they gave Coppin that universal sort of a 4-5 sort of like jobs that he wears rolled into one now. I think he's quite an influential man within the current board, hence why Clement ain't going anywhere. So until we get a chairman and the new CEO in, no decisions are going to be made until the end. So you're now talking probably post the cup final before a decision will be made on him. So I fully see him still being in the job for the cup final mid-December. And then I believe that's when the curtains will come down post that game. So on that Monday morning, on the 15th of December, I think he'll be gone. So I don't see us winning that cup.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It could be a horrible day. So good. Jack, what about you, pal?
Kind of similar. I don't think anything's really going to be done until the kind of main board guys are in and making their opinions and stuff felt. I can't really see something happening imminently. I think obviously the reaction to the result, even at half time at Ibrox on Saturday, was quite deafening. People have really been fed up with us for a while now, and I don't think the fans have really truly been listened to on what's in the best interest for the club. And I think it is removing Clement as the manager definitely as a first. We'll obviously get a tricky run of games coming up. And I think Nice is kind of just a free hit. I don't think anything obviously happens on the back of that game. Sunday at St Johnstone again, there could be just another dire performance in the league to come up. You've got Kilmarnock after that, Ross County. Those run of games could really kind of spark something, but I can't really see it. It will be after probably a drubbing to Spurs on the Thursday and then losing the cup final on the Sunday as well. That's probably when a decision will be made when the new guys are starting, obviously that week. So unfortunate that it's kind of got to this stage, but yeah, probably the same as Ross and Ricky for that one.
Fair enough. Well, I think we'll wrap up there, gentlemen. Ross, thanks for coming on, mate. Enjoy your trip.
Worries. Yeah, thank you. I'll let you know
have
how
a
I
good
get
one.
on. Hopefully you'll see me in the crowd with my hat on.
It's a belter.
Rangers carry again.
Let's have a...
You've been desperate today since you got it.
I'm literally desperate. Let's hope we are great again soon. Can chuck it in the bin.
Right, Ricky, thanks for coming on, pal.
Oh, thanks, Scotty. And Ross, hope you and the lads all have a great time. I know you will on Thursday, and I'll see you all on Saturday or Sunday, no doubt, when you get back. And I'll be looking out for the North Yorkshire Loyal flag in the crowd somewhere. I assume you'll be in charge of that.
That'll be there. That'll be there.
Make sure it comes back in one piece. Then the last time it got left in Seville, so make sure it comes back. Yeah, thanks very much tonight, guys. I'll see you later.
Did you hear that now, Ross? You have to make sure you take your flag back with you.
Oh, God. As if I don't have enough to worry on seeing Dessa's live in person. I've got to get a bloody flag home.
Hey, Jack, thank you for coming on, mate.
Aye, cheers. Even though it was just a wee short kind of appearance, cheers for having us on for a brief chat. And aye, Ross, hopefully you have a nice trip over and bring a decent result back home.
Just remember to bring a flag back, Ross. Right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Everybody in the comments, please hit a like, subscribe button, head on over and check out Every Other Saturday's YouTube channel as well. Give them a wee like and subscribe too. And apart from that, we'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock with our Rangers Journal Q&A. So thank you for tuning in. And I suppose every night is Rangers Journal night. Cheers.